We're going to start with what is talking points. So this is something that we in the office have already been using. It is a website. It's not an app. There is an app, but you don't have to have it. We're just using the web page. It's a website where we send out messages in English, and the students receive those messages on their phones as a text message in their native language. So it's a translating service. It doesn't have to go out in their native language. We can set it to go in English, especially for like advanced students who may not actually need the translation aspect of it. But for those kind of logistical messages about like scheduling, instructions, tech help, the relief of knowing that the student is getting something they definitely understand is awesome. So for you, how that works is, like I said, you're on a website, you're on your computer or on your tablet, and you send a message in English to your student or to the whole class. You can send it as like a group message. Your student's going to receive that message as a text on their phone. So your student doesn't need to have an app. They don't ever have to go to the website. They're going to have it in their phone as like a texting conversation, and they're going to receive that in their first language.
Lizzie, we have a question in the chat. Do students need to have smartphones?
The only requirement is that the phone number is a US phone number. There are a handful of students that is affecting that are getting filtered out by that. There's a few of our students, especially students who travel back and forth between Tucson and Mexico frequently, they just continue to use their Mexican phone number. As far as that affects you as instructors, I want to say 2 or 3 teachers who have students who can't use talking points, we're going to contact individually to let you know who those exceptions are and what we recommend. The vast majority of you, all of your students are able to use this. As far as the language settings go, like I said, it doesn't have to be in their native language. This is something that we do for you. Teachers can't edit the students' language settings, but you can contact us at any time and we can switch it over. By default, this is the way we have it set up right now. So for all of our beginning classes, that is set to the student's first language to start with, so that they're getting all of those initial communications in a really clear way. For our advanced classes, it is set to English by default. And then if you know you have something complex that you want to message out, you can let us know just to make sure everybody definitely gets that message. For our intermediates, we're going to start in the student's first language for now. So that again, those first communications, you definitely know everybody knows what's going on for the first week of class. And then you can feel free to contact us whenever you feel like you know your students better and they're ready to start getting all of their messages in English. You can also do that just for specific students. So if you have more of a mixed level and you're like, I have this higher level student, they could be getting these in English, but I want to keep it in the first language for the rest of my class, we can do that too. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. So by default, beginners are going to get it in their first language, advanced into English, intermediate is first language for now. So I want to talk a little bit about how it works. How do we use it? And I want to start that conversation with the messages themselves first, because you have to remember when you're using it as a translator, if you're sending all in English to advanced students, this is much less important. But when it's going through the translator, it is a robot. So it's very important that we keep it simple. Grammar doesn't always translate, so thinking about short, simple sentences, and you want to avoid slang, idioms, abbreviations, anything that might confuse the translation. So this is an example of what I might send in a first message to my students. Hello class, my name is Lizzie, your English teacher. I'm excited to get started. We'll meet for the first time on September 28 at 1 p.m. Here's the link for Zoom. What I want to know, looking at that message, is what might cause problems for the translation. So in the chat, send anything that you think might get a little garbled by the robot. And Kate, if you can read those out to me as they come in.
Sure. Yes. Yep. It's easy to stump the robot. Yeah, so we've got the contraction of I'm might be problematic. I'm excited. Writing the date as 9/28 might be confusing. Contraction again, wheel. Nickname of Lizzie. The way the date is written, 1 p.m. without a space there. Yeah.
Nice. There's one in here that I honestly didn't catch like my first 3 times going through this slideshow, and it was pointed out to me that I wonder if you guys can find. It's less about those kind of editing things like the contractions and the way I've written the time and date, and more about word choice. Just wanna wait and see if anybody catches that last one. There's a phrase in here that might not make sense in other languages. Let me see here. I'm excited. I'm feeling okay about, although I definitely see that it could get lost. But it's that sentence that is my questionable sentence. Yeah, to get started. I don't know if that phrasal verb makes sense. I don't know if that'll work out across the board. It might be fine, but it could also cause some problems. And I think that there's a more simple way that I could put that. So you guys are pointing out all the things that I would like you to be pointing out. And it's that kind of thinking that we want to have when we're sending messages through talking points. Just that we write whatever we're going to write and then just take a second to go back through it and say, is there anything here that's going to trip it up? So a revised first message that will go through, I think, more clearly. Hello class, my name is Lizzie. I am your English teacher. The first day of class is September 28th, so I wrote out the month just in case. At 1:00 p.m. Use this URL to join class. Oh, I did switch link to URL because I also don't know if link works in a bunch of languages. But while we as teachers are doing that careful thinking about our messages, our students may not be. And I want to show you some examples that Sheila has gotten while she has been registering students for classes. So this first one is to a student who put Chinese as their language. So student Sheila's sending out, we have a class for you. Please reply to confirm that this works for you. And the student is saying, thank you very much. I'm happy to receive this message. Sheila says, you're welcome. And then the student sends, your Chinese is perfect. Thank you for helping. So our students may not realize that this is going through a translator. That's not inherently a bad thing, but it means that they are not thinking about writing simple messages. So they might send you something that has an acronym or that's kind of text speech and gets the translation a little confused. Because if your student replies in Spanish or in Chinese or in French, you're still going to receive that message in English. It's translating in both directions. So after the first couple of days, we've actually met our students in class, we can tell them, please send simple messages. It's a translator. But the first couple might be a little weird. Another example is same email. We have an English class for you. Please confirm. And the student's English reply says, yes, if scare, thank you. There is a button that you can push when you are looking at messages. It's this little translate symbol. That will show you the original message. So this student is texting in Spanish. Sheila speaks Spanish, so she clicked the button to see what the original message was. And she sees, sí asistiré, muchas gracias. So this is just a typo. The student meant to send asistiré, which would mean attend, yes, register me for that class. But the typo, the translator took it as scare. So if you have that sort of cognate or language background knowledge, you can check the first message and probably figure it out. And most of the time you can figure it out anyway, because you know what your question was, you understand the context. you can piece together if the language doesn't make sense. But if for any reason you get one that is gobbledygook and you can't figure it out, this question mark button is what sends it to a person. So if you get a message and you don't know what they're trying to say, you click on that and one of Talking Point's human translators will review it. They get also the immediate previous message. So they have the context of what you were asking to help inform their correction. And they usually get back to you within 24 hours. So it's pretty quick. They try to be quicker than that. The longest seems to be about a day. So you're able to get some extra help if it doesn't make sense. So with that idea about messaging in mind, how do we actually access and get into this? You'll receive an invitation in your email. That does not come from us. It comes from Talking Points because we send you the invitation through that. And then you'll have a button to click on to join Literacy Connects. I want to show you what it looks like just because in my opinion, it does not look very much like a link, but it is that blue join Literacy Connects is what you click on. So that'll open it up. Because this is a service where the student's personal information is in the website, it has their phone numbers and their contact, they do go through one extra security step. Once you click on that button, they will send you another email with a verification code. So you'll have to go to your email again to get that password code to put in just to double check that you are actually the teacher and you should be getting all of these phone numbers. And that looks like that. You just grab the number out of the email to type in. So once you are in, it will ask you to set up your teacher profile. You'll choose your own password. We don't need to know what your password is. We are in as school administrators, so we can always get into your class and change language settings or help out or whatever. So you can set it whatever password you are able to use and remember, no big deal. You want to enter your name the way that you want students to see it. So I always put Lizzie because that's what I have my students call me. There are a couple of questions in there that aren't required, but if you want to fill it all in, your role is a teacher ELL for English language learner. It has a grade question, we're other because we're not actually K-12. But what I do need everyone to put in is school and to put Literacy Connects for school because students see that when they get the first message. The first text message they get from the account will say this message is from Literacy Connects. So it helps them understand that it's not just a random stranger because they're getting as an unknown number text message. So when you're setting up your profile, you can choose your own password, set your name, and just adding Literacy Connects for school is really helpful for students so they know where that's coming from. And again, they've been getting messages from us because this is how we registered them. So they'll recognize that and understand where it's coming from. So that's what the access first login will look like. And now I'm going to show you what it looks like.